Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and it's been a long time, been a minute. I apologize for that. Excuse me, a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on in wrestling, a lot of things going on in the world, a lot of things going on in my world. So it's been a minute, unfortunately, since I've been able to do a show. My wife, personal note, my wife's been back and forth between here and Vanderbilt, having various health issues. Been on a feeding pump for a little bit now, and has what's known as POTS, possibly Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, functional neurological disorder, and recently has been having seizures. So prayers hopefully going out to her. If you're hearing this, please send some prayers out to my wife Jenna. She needs them. She's out in Nashville, feeling lonely and not feeling real good physically. So yeah, definitely need some prayers out there. Let's see. On another personal note, my son got baptized about a week ago, but went down to once again to Nashville. Seems to be I'll spend more time in Nashville now than I am. It seems like in at home, and it's all not all of it, but most of it's not for good reasons. Although the people at Vanderbilt are awesome, and shout out to them. Definitely, they are phenomenal. I love it. They're unfortunately, if I have to go to the hospital, that's where I'd want to go. Unfortunately, from here, it's 2.5 hours away. So yeah, round trip is 5 hours, which really, really is exhausting, to tell you the truth. But my son and I have been a trooper. We've been going down there, visiting when we can and dropping her off when we can. Ended up bringing her to the ER, and wow, I just got sidetracked. I mentioned my son got baptized. Nashville, like I said, I believe I said, maybe I didn't, I don't know. These days my brain isn't working right anyway, so, but yeah, I got baptized by Kayla Gabbard, I should say. She has a ministry, a really cool, ministry, and she goes from, state to state, doing baptisms, and it's really cool. There's a preacher that, a pastor that gives services during the whole thing. It's kind of a real cool 2-day event. She'll show up in Nashville like she did a little while ago. She'll I think she's going down to Florida, Louisiana, then Florida. Check her website out if you're interested. And, there were thousands of people baptized that weekend. It was just it was pretty incredible, and my son and my wife and I got baptized again, which will be a third time for me. I don't know why he ended up doing this, but we're my wife, my son, and myself were personally baptized by Kayla, which was really cool because if you look at her story, she's battled some infirmities and overcome them. And it was good. I know that my wife is inspired by her and loves her videos and loves her love for the Lord. So it was an awesome experience getting to meet her and have my son, myself, and Jenna baptized by her, which was really cool. So it was really really good. I mean, it coincided with a fall festival, so there were people there that were for the fall festival that didn't know what was going on. They ended up being baptized and seeing the whole revival. It was really cool. Beautiful day. At least we went down there. Was it Saturday? And just gorgeous day. Beautiful lake area where they had it. My son had a blast playing in the water. I guess they had some people that they were trying to get away from the water, but yeah, it was a real good time. But yeah, like I said, aside from that, man, there's so much going on. I don't even know where to start. Sorry about that. little piece of dessert hanging on there. Where do I go from here? Jeez, so much to talk about, and I've only got very, very, very limited time to do it. But I wanted to come back to a show. Hopefully, I can get back to somewhat regular basis, which I don't even know what that is anymore. It's hard to do a wrestling show when you don't have the time to watch wrestling and traveling back and forth, and it's not your main focus anymore. Man, the time of the show, I think I've done 2 gigs. Played at Scott's Pizza in downtown Trenton, which was great, and I really enjoy what he's doing down there with that space. He's got on the end there, going towards what kind of the outside of the square, I guess you say, going towards his tattoo shop. There he has a space dedicated for performances, which he's going to be having shows running, I guess, Friday and Saturday nights. I hope I get to play there again, because it was a real good atmosphere. It's much more like a like kind of a coffee shop kind of atmosphere rather than a bar, which I prefer that type of atmosphere. I kind of excel in that type of laid back environment. It's where I feel most comfortable. I used to host an open mic in a tea house years and years ago, and my style of music, my style of writing, everything that I play kind of I think transfers well in that environment, and it works well in that environment. That and, festivals, fairs. I might be playing a bar coming up, so that'll be interesting. It's been years since I played a bar, so that should be interesting. I don't know if things have changed since then, but gonna find out possibly. I hope that kind of pans out. I also played a benefit gig at not benefit, but a volunteer gig, I should say, at a nursing home, which was, to tell you the truth, those are some of my favorite gigs, because the older people that are there, really appreciate it, it seems like, and have a blast, and hopefully I make their day better, at least for a little while, and make them forget about their issues, because they do really appreciate it, and it's a real good time, as opposed to some other venues kind of sometimes, But I do enjoy those types of shows. I had one, it's fine, my worst gig was, believe it or not, at a nursing home, which I won't name the place, excuse me. It was in New York, I won't name the town, but the staff was so rude to me. It was a large area with a lot of patients, and my gear was underpowered at the time for it. It wasn't loud enough for that big of a space, and I wasn't aware of how many people would be there. And like I said, the staff was rude. A lot of the patients were, I think, like hospice patients, and a lot of them were dementia patients, and they were not always the nicest people in the world, unfortunately, but was really awkward, really, really miserable time. And I hate that, because I like volunteering my time. And that wasn't a volunteer too. That was a paid gig. But I like trying to do events like that and trying to do stuff like that. But usually I have a real positive vibe. That was the one time it didn't. And excuse me. Throat is insanely dry right now. I just practiced, so I'll probably be a little hoarse here maybe in a little bit, but yeah, not to harp on that gig, and then the organizer took a month to pay me for it. Didn't issue a check, which was what the contract agreement was for. Was I was supposed to get paid that day before leaving, but he violated the contract and ended up paying me. It took him a full month after me calling him almost every day to issue a check and send it to me, which was unacceptable, but which is too bad. I really wish that would have been better. But it was a large facility, very big facility, a lot of people, and very corporate facility. And like I said, the staff was absolutely miserable. Just, I know it can be hard sometimes when you're in that atmosphere, when you got people, unaliving left and right kind of thing. But still, they were unhelpful and just, and then, like I said, I didn't get paid for till much later. So, that wasn't fun. But like I said, this facility I've been doing, I've performed there a couple times, and this one nursing home that I've done recently, and it's been excellent. It's been a really good time. Very good time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The format of the show is going to change a little bit because, like I said, I'm not. Excuse me. I don't have a whole lot of time, unfortunately, to be watching wrestling anymore. So it's going to divert a little bit away from the wrestling and more on general topics, I think. Maybe we'll veer back later on, I'm hoping, but for now, just to sustain the podcast, I think we're going to branch out into other topics. So that's a thing, but yeah, that's how, from this point forward, I think that's how we're going to try to use the format of the show, or change the format of the show to kind of be a general discussion. Not that I'm not going to talk about wrestling, trust me. Before we get onto the wrestling stuff, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it's been a minute, but I still want to mention the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's still very surreal to me how that all went down and what happened. Really bizarre. I don't want to get into the whole conspiracy garbage. I'm not a conspiracy guy, sorry. I think a lot of it... I think if they the thing about conspiracy theorists is, I think sometimes the people that come up with the theories are more intelligent than the people that would have actually been the ones that carry them out. Because I don't think a lot of these people that do a lot of this stuff have the aptitude to carry out some of these elaborate conspiracies. I think especially the government, I think you're thinking way too highly of these people. I've been involved with politics. I know politicians. I think you're giving them way too much credit to think that some of these elaborate theories are true. But yeah, getting back to Charlie Kirk, sad moment, really horrible moment. I've seen some really hateful things posted about Charlie, and I'm still waiting to see the facts where these people back them up. You can say all you want, but unless you have video to support or written page to support what you're going to say, then it's all kind of nullified. And a lot of these things have been addressed and disproven over in the past few months, or how long has it been? Jeez. But sad event. I was numb for a little while after. There are some deaths that really affect me, and that was one of them. I wasn't a big Charlie Kirk fan, but I did, see his a lot of his reels and whatnot would pop up in my timeline, so it was something that was constantly, I'd get little snippets of. He was one of the absolute best debaters I've ever seen in my entire life. Just incredible apologetic force. And by apologetic, I mean, when I say the word Christian apologetic, I really am referring to kind of what I am, what I classify like a Lee Strobel as. I don't know if you're familiar with his writings, but he wrote the Case for Christ, Case for Creator. He had his own television show at one point in time. Thankfully, I had the honor of conversing through email years ago, a long time ago. I had sent an email through Zondervan, his publisher, and he responded with his personal email address, which was great. And we had a conversation going back and forth for for a little while there, but you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Getting back to Charlie Kirk, but that's how I categorize him, because I think a lot of us in that categorization, come to Christ through logic rather than kind of evangelical and emotional means. That's how I kind of classify, like I said, Strobel, like classify Kirk. He had the facts and the wherewithal and the knowledge to back up everything he said. So that's why I kind of throw him into that apologetic category. You know, he approached everything through logic, used history to demonstrate things, and facts and science to demonstrate his point. And a lot of times did so in a very empathetic and caring way, even though he didn't like the word empathy. I personally love the word empathy. Sorry. I think we need more of it, but did so in a very empathetic and loving and caring way, I think. And I'm probably gonna get slammed for some of these remarks, especially from some of my friends and whatnot. But I'm sorry, those are my beliefs, and we're allowed to have a civil discourse, you know, in this day and age. We can't devolve into something where society, you know, shoots people over their beliefs and shoots them over a difference of opinion. We can't continue to have this, and it's disheartening, and it's a very sad when I see people mischaracterizing somebody like Kirk, and it really breaks my heart. And his death broke my heart because of those reasons. He was an incredible evangelical force in the sense of through his apologetics and through his ability to debate and to present the facts. And he opened up discussions that should be open, and he presented things in a manner that were very respectful, and he didn't surround himself with people in the sense of his campus events. It didn't surround himself with people who agreed with him. He invited people who didn't agree with him to the front of the line to have an open discussion, and that's really brave. That's, you know, that you're not manipulating things. You're not doing, you know, if you want to call people Hitler, you want to call people dictators or whatnot, look back to throughout history with the strategies and the tactics that they use. They would hush people in the audience that didn't believe them. They would pay people to be in the audience who believed them, that believed as they did, to cheer them on. They would do things of that nature. They would not invite people to the front of the line who disagreed with their propaganda. That's not what that type of individual does. So Charlie was the opposite of that, and you know, rest in peace. You know, prayers continue to go out for his children and his wife, and real sad day. And I'm sorry, I don't want to turn things political. I don't want to turn things, you know, completely based on faith. But I'm sorry, I have to give my opinion, and that's what it is. And if you disagree with me, that's the beautiful thing about America. You can. And as far as I know, it still is America, and you decide things with the ballot, not the bullet. So rest in peace, Charlie, and God bless you, man, and happy belated birthday in heaven to him. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I keep seeing these little snippets saying that Turning Point is having its own halftime show. I hope that this is true. I really hope that this is true. There's so many little, I think they're false rumors, but it's been saying like Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll would be playing. I think that would be amazing. Because no offense to Bad Bunny, I would tune in on that in a heartbeat. I would love to see that, man. I think that would be awesome. I hope they do it. Because that would be a tremendous show, I think. That would be great. And I hope they do it. Another thing I noticed, Crowder started hit back his going to campuses and changed my mind or prove me wrong or whatever. I forget exactly what he says. Steven Crowder, he started doing his thing again after Kirk was assassinated. So shout out to him. I followed him a long, long time ago. I know he's been very controversial. I know there are things that came out about his divorce with his wife, and supposedly there was, some abuse there. I don't know. I'm not involved with that. I have no idea. I always found the guy entertaining. I always found him, he had some great shows on YouTube and whatnot, which he's been forced off of, and he's on, I think, exclusively on Rumble now, but yeah, it's good to see him back on the campuses too. That was pretty cool, seeing that kind of taking up the mantle of Charlie. So, props out to him too, and what else we got going on, except for it seems like everything in the entire world going on, man. I'm not going to go into the whole Middle East peace deals or anything, because that didn't seem like that lasted very long. But we've got like 2 seconds to talk about wrestling. Let's do it. Unfortunately, like I said, people, I think the shows are going to turn into more of this because I just don't have time and the wherewithal to watch wrestling. But one thing I know has happened quite some time ago, but the whole Karrion Kross thing, man. I would love to see what I know. We've seen the shoot interviews. I think, was he insulted because of supposedly the way that they treated Scarlett? It's quite possible. He claimed that he wanted to see the numbers and see the merchandise numbers and whatnot to kind of validate his position on what he should be getting paid. I'm sad to see him go. I like Karrion Kross, man. I was hoping to see him in WWE. Not to mention, he was good friends with Kevin Castle, and Castle on the Don Tony Kevin Castle show talked a lot about him, and I was hoping he would have stayed with WWE and seen that through, and I was hoping they would utilize him the proper way, because they weren't. They're booking him horribly, and I don't know if it was because they knew he was going to go, or what the deal is. I don't know. I mean, TKO is really starting to drop the ball, and I'm really sad about that, because they had such great momentum after the whole after you saw Punk come back, after you saw Cody Rhodes come back and all that. They had some great momentum, and they had some great writing. They had some great storylines. They had some really interesting stuff, and it's starting to fall apart, unfortunately, and that's sad, because a lot of people are kind of comparing. Wow, I think it just created a new word. Comparing this regime to the old McMahon regime in its style of booking, and sadly, it's starting to kind of resemble that. And I'm wondering if TKO is to blame, because they're going to this now with the PLEs. I just got Peacock again, and it's like, now the PLEs are off of Peacock, and they're going to be on this ESPN thing that you got to pay like a stupid amount of money for just to watch this. And I'm thinking about just going through a VPN at this point, maybe with the Netflix stuff. I don't know, because this is just stupid. If they're going to do PLEs every single month, you can't expect people to pay an insane amount for it. And I think TKO is making a big mistake here. I think they're going to look back on this and regret it. Because I think that when they said they signed up with ESPN, I was like, sweet, they're going to show the PLEs on ESPN. No, it's going to the special channel that they have, which you got to pay even more money for. Please stop it, WWE. At least I saw a thing for AEW's pay-per-views on Prime today. While I was watching a little bit of the game with my son, and it was like, oh, okay, at least I can get PLEs or for AEW, I guess. Even though AEW is a completely horrific product right now, which I hate because I like some of the wrestlers there now. And now they're saying that Andrade violated his contract now with showing up on AEW television. I think there's a 90-day compete. And it's like, what the heck? Come on, Andrade. You got... I don't know. I mean, did he go back because of Charlotte and then leave because of Charlotte? It's like, what happened to this guy? You know, he had such promise at one point, and they just, everywhere he goes, I don't know if it's him dropping the ball, the Booker's dropping the ball, but whatever it is, it needs to stop, because this guy has, he has the goods if he could just deliver it and not be an idiot, you know, and just, do what he's got to do, because he's great in the ring. He's charismatic, you know. Are there some language issues? Apparently, there's some language issues with myself too. But are there language issues? Jeez. Yeah, there are. But I think he could still come across as believable. I don't know, you know, because he is very charismatic, dude. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. What was I going to say? On to the Cena farewell. You know, farewell tour, I guess. AJ Styles, man. I got to sit down and watch this match, because everyone that follows me knows how much I love AJ, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And seeing him come out to the old school intro with the old school blue and white, you know, P1 Phenomenal One gear, and doing the old AJ Styles thing was awesome. And then that heartfelt introduction that I had seen written that's what they keep saying, was great. Was great. You know, referencing the Bullet Club, referencing TNA. And by the way, I'd rather watch TNA than AEW at this point. I think it's a much more entertaining product and better format, better book, better product at this point. So, but yeah, kudos to AJ Styles and John Cena, and kudos to John Cena for giving props to AJ. He deserves it. I know it's an overused phrase, but he deserves it. He's getting his flowers, and he deserves it. Dudleys lose to the Hardy Boys, and real interesting moment at the end when when Devon and Bubba Ray take off their boots and don't just leave them in the ring, but hand them to the Hardy Boys. Real emotional, real one of those historic moments, you know. And being somebody who, you know, grew up on watching those, you know, seeing TLC, the original like TLC match, and those Hardys versus Dudley Boys matches in WWE, in TNA, you know, it's a big part of my wrestling history, big part, and had to happen at some point, and was an emotional thing to see. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. You know, a couple of minutes ago, actually. But it's good to be back. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And check out Then Now in Trenton if you get a chance. They're right downtown in the square. Can't miss them. We don't have booth there anymore, which breaks my heart, but still, the owner's a great friend of ours and deserves props out and deserves business. So check them out. Other than that, prayers going out to everybody. Have a good week and God bless.